Alright, so I had this van brace. Pretty plain, pretty simple. It's not even leathered up or any of that. Just simple, straightforward. You put it on, it works. It's rigid enough to, stop something, keep you from dying. But I had some spare steel lying around, specifically this piece here, and some spare steel cable lying around, which is this tangled mess here. And I was hoping that I'd be able to construct a little mount and system on the back of this using some various angles or pieces of angle iron, bolts, whatever. And the goal today is I'd like to make a system that allows for the steel hinged on these at a side to effectively fold out and become a crossbow. And it's that folding action that really is going to complicate this. And I originally wanted to put something like this on the back so that way I could extend it out to have a bigger crossbow, but ultimately it would just be one more moving part that would probably fail. And the problem that we'll be having today is keeping these latches, or actually making latches and keeping these up, because this is going to have to stay up enough for the steel to actually deform to put that power in. The alternative to that would be to put some springs fixed at a point ahead of the van brace, connected at some point down the steel crossbeam itself, like that, so that way when it was extended, you would have this spring that fixes the arms outwards, and then the elastic power would actually come from the spring itself instead of the steel. This will be weaker, but it will be a lot less of a headache, I think. And so I think that that's what we're going to try first. So let's get to that. I've got 2 brackets made. Not my finest work, but it'll do. So I got them level, so that way I don't have any issues with that. So that way the bolt goes straight. Just gonna have to fasten these together. I've got my springs here, and I think I will end up going with the springs to hold it up. But that is going to mean that I have to have a piece of steel protruding out the front, which I'm not the happiest with. Alright, so now that I'm looking at the actual contraption, I'm starting to think that I might not even need to add extensions using the steel. I think I might be able to just get away with this alone. Now, if I do add the steel extensions, we could get them a good 3 inches longer. So the crossbow would be, it would be pretty sizable. It would be about there. Yeah, I think that's worth it. I definitely do think that's worth it. Alright, here's the update. I added on the extensions, and frankly, I think it was a great choice. I angled them somewhat up, because that's going to help me later on when I install the channel, because I don't want the channel all the way down, because I'm going to have bolts and stuff in here in the way. So I'm actually going to put the C channel like higher up, like probably about there, somewhere around there. And that's going to make my life a whole lot easier having these things angled upwards rather than parallel. It was also a lot easier to drill, so I'll take it. And that's the rough footprint of what we're working with now, is this, and then it will fold out like so. And I realize now that the springs are actually going to help that snap out from the beginning. So it's going to be pretty slick, I think. I hope. Here it is. I added on these 2 sets of springs. I originally tried the short stubby ones only, but they did not have near enough power. So I added on these ones and mounted them all the way out in the middle of the arm just to give it that extra pull, that extra lever action. I mounted the rail that I was showing you guys, and I might stain the wood. I don't know. It really depends on how I'm feeling. But overall, I am really happy with how this turned out. And I'm using sharpened chopsticks, as you can probably see here, as ammunition. And this thing has enough power that, voila! I mean, I think that speaks for itself. It's not lethal or anything, but it's definitely gonna, sting. It's definitely gonna hurt a bit. And the next thing, if I make an upcoming video, which I might not, would be building a design to actually keep these collapsed shut. So that way it's nice and compact for when I'm moving around, and then when I need it, it's out. That is so scary. And then fully ready, just like that. And maybe a couple tweaks to the balance of the thing, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how this thing turned out. Just wanted to say thank you for watching. It's not normally something that I do to record myself, but this was just a project that was so cool I couldn't pass up the opportunity to share it. So if you want to, you can subscribe. No promises that I'm ever going to post anything again. This was just what the heck, why not? I've got a rig to record, so I might as well use it, right? And maybe see you in the next one. Oh, wait, was that a spring that just fell off? Yeah, well, there you go. My projects never work quite well. See you in the next one.